Irving, Texas is a city that we're featuring today. We're talking affordability, we're talking lifestyle, we're talking real estate, we're talking about it all. So first, we need to understand where in the heck Irving, Texas even is. Irving, Texas is in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex and borders Coppell, Carrollton, Farmers Branch, Dallas, Grand Prairie, Arlington, Euless, and Grapevine. And from downtown Irving to downtown Fort Worth, it's going to take you about 30 minutes. And to get from downtown Irving to downtown Dallas, that's going to take about 18. And to get to the DFW International Airport, it's going to take you 15-minute tops, considering that it borders the airport as well. So as you can probably tell, Irving is in the center of everything, and it's super accessible to a lot of the cities that you've probably heard of before. But let's take one step further and apply our how far can I go in 30-minute test, because this test will show you how far you can drive away from the city within 30 minutes, which is going to help you understand the traffic in the area. So as you can see, within 30 minutes, you can get to just about anywhere in the DFW area from Irving. You can get to Denton, you can get to Little Elm, the Colony, Frisco, all the way up to McKinney, Allen, Plano, Richardson, Garland, Mesquite, of course, covering all of Dallas, going down to DeSoto, Cedar Hill, touching Midlothian as well, Mansfield, all of Arlington, all of Grand Prairie, cover a good amount of Fort Worth, and of course you have the mid-cities all covered as well. Get to Roanoke, Flower Mound, and just about everything in Louisville as well. So again, it's super hard to beat Irving from a location standpoint. And now that you know where Irving, Texas is, I want to welcome you to the go-to real estate channel for the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because that really helps out the channel. All right, so let's get back to Irving, Texas, because this is what you came for. Irving is a city in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex located in Dallas County, with an estimated population of 240,000, making it the 13th most populous city in Texas and the 93rd most populous city in the United States. The city overall has a 37.7% owner-occupied housing unit rate, which means that of the households available in Irving, about 38% of them are owner-occupied. The rest are being leased out. And to give you an idea of the size, there's about 86,000 households in Irving with an average of 2.78 persons per household. Now, when it comes to education, 80% of the residents have a high school diploma or higher, and about 38.6% have a bachelor's degree or higher. And when it comes to the median household income, you're looking at $66,567 per year. Now, for those of you that are interested in what the weather is like in Irving, the hottest months are July and August, with an average high temperature of 96 degrees and an average low temperature of 75 within those 2 months. And if you want to know what the cold is like, your coldest months are going to be in January and December, with the average highs being 55 degrees and the average lows being 35 degrees in those 2 cold months. And something that a lot of residents and future residents can really appreciate about Irving is that there is a ton of employment. Given that the top 5 employers in Irving have at least 2,000 employees each. Irving has Allstate Insurance with over 3,000 employees, Verizon Communications with over 3,000 employees as well, Irving Mall with over 2,000 employees, Microsoft with over 2,000 employees, and Christus Health with over 2,000 employees as well. All right, so I know I threw a lot of numbers at you, and those numbers in and of themselves may not make a lot of sense without any context. So to bring in some context, I'm going to share with you a resource that we use on this channel, which is niche.com, which specializes in making these numbers make sense and also specializes in comparing city versus city, so you get a grade on every city that we review on this channel. So according to Niche, based off of the 12 categories that they grade, Irving received an A score on 5 of them, those being in public schools, good for families, jobs, nightlife, and diversity. And the categories that Irving secured a B on was housing, cost of living, outdoor activities, weather, health and fitness, and commute. Now, the sole C that Irving received came in crime and safety. Now, again, that's an external resource that we use, so we'll link it down below for you to review further. But to give you an even better sense of what to expect in Irving, let's look at what some current residents have to say. This is a quiet and calm town that is a very safe environment for children to grow up in. It has easy access to highways and transportation via the DART bus. The school districts in Irving are very well run with many graduates satisfied. There are not many attractions, however, this is a very culturally diverse city. Another resident says that Irving is a very decent city to live in, recently has been growing a lot, and it has got many new attractions such as a music factory and many other new restaurants. It is pretty safe and clean, and the people are very nice. Another current resident says, not a lot to do in Irving, but it's a great location between Dallas and Fort Worth. Generally clean, good parks, variety of good restaurants, especially on the north side. The mall sucks, but again, it is not far from several good ones. Grapevine, North Park, the Galleria. Don't know a lot about the public schools now, but I had a good experience. Another resident says its central location is its best feature. It feels safer than other neighborhoods, and there are a lot of parks and trails. Some small neighborhoods are quieter and safer than others. Example, Las Colinas and University Hills, which is something to look at for when house hunting. I moved here from South Florida, and I appreciate that diversity in North Irving right away. I didn't know much about the area, just that it was close to my job. But there are a lot of restaurants, a convention center, and train stops that will take you directly to DFW Terminal A. I mean, there are a lot of other pulses in Irving. Home prices are rising, and I hope to afford a purchase in the same area I rent now. Another resident says living in Irving is comfortable to say the least. Everything is easily accessible. Fast food chains, gardens, parks, tattoo parlors, teen centers, etc. But I would certainly like there to be more facilities dedicated to the youth and their future. Maybe more museums, weekend classes, and volunteer facilities. And the last resident we'll feature today says, I would say Irving is one of the best places to live in Dallas-Fort Worth area because it is in the middle of everything. I've enjoyed living here and love the convenience of my home to all kind of events and happenings. The only thing I would say negative is that there are some areas that are not as safe or well kept up. But I think that is how it is in all cities or towns across the country. Overall, a good area and a nice place to live. All right, so let's briefly address the reviews. With the reviews that we share, we like sharing different opinions. We don't go for the super negative ones, and we also don't go with the super positive ones because the extremes don't really bring you much value. So there's going to be some reviews that are contrary to another. Some people may think the city is super diverse, and some people may think that it is not diverse enough. That happens. But let's keep going. Let's talk about the park situation in Irving. So what you're seeing on the map right now are the most popular parks in Irving. There's actually a lot more parks, but they're not as common and it's not as well traveled. So that's why they don't show up in this particular search. So with that being said, let's check out some of the more popular parks, starting with Victoria Park. All right, so that was Victoria Park. Let's check out Centennial Park further down south. All right, so let's head back north and go to Thomas Jefferson Park. right, so now that we've looked at a few parks, let's check out the school situation. Now, okay, so in no particular order, let's begin. We have MacArthur High School, Irving High School, Austin Middle School, Highlands School, Great Hearts Irving, Haynes Elementary School, Elliott Elementary School, Universal Academy, Las Colinas Elementary School, Brandenburg Elementary School, John W. and Margie Stipes Elementary School, Jackie E. Singley Academy, Shoals Elementary School, Nimitz High School, John R. Good Elementary School, Lady Bird Johnson Middle School, John Haley Elementary School, Albert Ferren Elementary School, Travis Middle School, and La Villita Elementary School. Now again, the full breakdown of schools is linked down below, so check that out. Let's transition into real estate because that's super important when it comes to living in Irving, because your housing situation dictates quite a bit. Regardless if you're renting or if you live in the home that you own, it doesn't matter. Your living situation when it comes to real estate is super impactful to the quality of life that you and your family have. All right, so let's start off broad by seeing what the average home values have been. The typical home value of homes in Irving has been $336,328. This value is seasonally adjusted and only includes the middle price tier of homes. Irving home values have gone up 24.2% over the past year. And folks, this is not a typo. In fact, in several of the cities that we've covered in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, home prices have changed over 30% in just 1 year. And to give you an idea of what the home prices have been doing over the past 10 years, check out this graph. You can see that they've been steadily increasing as the years go by, and in 2021, it absolutely skyrocketed upward. Now, something very important to highlight here is that regardless if you're renting or if you're a homeowner, real estate home prices impact you. You may think that you're in a great place with your home all paid off and everything is great, which if that's you, congratulations, that's awesome. However, we cannot forget something that happens every single year, and that is paying property taxes. Because you have to pay property taxes on that home, whether you are making a mortgage payment or you own the home outright. And to give you an idea of what property taxes look like, you're looking at 2.4183% overall in property taxes. Now that's broken up in the categories that you see here. It's broken up into the city of Irving, Irving ISD, Dallas County, Community College District, Parkland Hospital, and the school equalization. Now I know that we're starting to get a little bit technical, but please hang in there with me. This is very important information, especially in this video, because in the coming minutes, we're actually going to calculate a mortgage payment. So we're going to need that property tax rate that you just saw as we start calculating the mortgage payment. But before we get to that part, let's make sense of what we just saw. Let's actually visualize what the average price home looks like in Irving. And the best way that I can bring you that visual is by actually applying the average home value that we just saw in the MLS, meaning what can you purchase with that average home value. So we're going to type in Irving, and you're going to see a big discrepancy that we've been seeing on all of the cities. You see that there's 306 properties available here. It's averaging $520,000. Now, this number is actually skewed a little bit higher because this includes commercial, land, and everything else like that. However, the price still has gone up. You saw that the average home value a couple of months ago, according to Zillow, was $330-something thousand. Yes, it has gone up. It might not have gone up to that 520 because again, this includes commercial. However, it has gone up. So what we're going to do is we're going to only look at single family properties, and we're going to see what homes we can actually afford at that price that we just saw. So we're going to put $350,000 as the low end, and we're going to put $450,000 to see the type of home that we can afford. So as you can see, we have 17 results, and most of the properties are down here. So up here, looks like there's 3 properties. Let's see what's going on over here. Good looking homes up here. So it's a 400s up here. Well, let's back up, and then we'll start searching through some properties. But you see that the bulk of the properties that are available for sale right now in that price point of $350 to $450 is down here, down south. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here. We're going to go to the north, and we're going to pay a little bit of a visit to these homes that are available. So that is $405,000, $450,000, and then $440,000. So let's check out what this $440,000 home, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet and 0.12 acres home has to offer. Okay, so that home that we just saw is being offered at $440,000. It has 2 beds, 2 baths, 1,667 square feet, and 0.12 acres. So let's zoom out for a quick second and visit down south and give you an idea of the homes that you can purchase around this price point throughout the rest of the city. All right, so it's a little bit more traditional. So you see that these homes, based off of just the greenery alone, lets you know that these homes are relatively older in age because the vegetation has actually caught up to it. So let's go into this home right here, because this one's being offered at $425,000, 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 2,200 square feet. And this acreage thing, I believe it's probably a mistake because it's not 0.0006 acres, but I could be wrong. So that home again is being offered at $425,000, 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 2,200 square feet, and that acreage thing is wrong. They missed a few decimals. So make sure that you're working with a real estate agent that will be factual and accurate with their information. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see what else we got. That looks like a remodel right there. Not a bad looking home. That one looks like a good looking home. We might end up going to that one and checking it out. That one looks good as well. Just give you a different feel for what's out there. Yeah, let's go back to that one that's being offered at $350 and see what that's about. So this one's being offered at $350, 3 beds, 2 baths, just a little bit over 2,000 square feet and 0.68 acres. So a fourth of an acre. All right, so that home is being offered at $350,000, 3 beds, 2 baths, over 2,000 square feet, and 0.268 acres. So as you probably saw from those pictures, there's a good amount of updating. There's a good amount of money that you're going to need to put into that property to bring it up to something that you might like and enjoy living in. So that's why it's priced where it's at. So without doing a complete analysis on it, I can't tell you if it's overpriced or underpriced, but just giving you an idea of why it is the way that it is. All right, so that gives you an idea of roughly the average price point that we're looking at. However, let's go up just a little bit more for those of you that might have a larger budget or want to see what that looks like from a home that is actually in areas up here that you might be interested in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to more filters and we're gonna actually bump this up to, let's go bump this up to 450, and we're gonna only go up by 100,000 on each. Now, the beauty of this is that there's going to be less competition here when it comes to these properties, but at the same time, understand that it is more money. So we have 12 results here. Actually, we might have missed the mark. Let's go further up. Let's go to 550 to 650. We might end up coming back, but just to give you an idea of the homes that are around here. So less and less. So the inventory, I knew it was compressed, but you can see that it is still heavily compressed. So let's go back to that 450 to 550 and see the type of home that we can purchase. Now you see that there's more homes up here towards the northern part, getting closer to Coppell, which that is a city that we're featuring on this channel as well. All right, so you see these types of homes that are available. We're gonna go and visit that one or that one. Just give you a different idea. Let's check out this one. $549,000, 4 beds, 3 baths, almost 2,700 square feet, and 0.138 acres. All right, so that home is $549,000, 4 beds, 3 baths, almost 2,700 square feet, and on 0.138 acres. And just so you see the rest of the homes that are available for that area within this price point. Give you a good feel of what's going on in the market in Irving. So let's go further south to feature one of the more established communities. All right, so let's go back to this one. That's 458. So it's 458,000, 3 beds, 3 baths, 2,400 square feet, and 1/4 of an acre. All right, so now that we've looked at a few properties, it's important to remind everybody that by the time you're watching this video, most likely, almost 100% guaranteed, none of the homes that you saw are available at the moment for sale, unless they came back onto the market or the owner that bought is selling again. That would just be a random coincidence. So for the updated list, for the current list of what's being sold in Irving, I'm going to leave a link down below for you to check that out. But now, the moment that you've been waiting for, the mortgage calculation. So we know what the park situation is like. We know what Irving is like now. We know what the schools are doing in the area. And we also have a good sense of what we can purchase in terms of the house that we can purchase. But we need to know how much we need to pay for it every single month. Now, to assist us with the mortgage payment, we're actually going to use a mortgage calculator from Bankrate. There are a ton of calculators out there. Use the one that you feel is best for you. What's important for us today is that you understand where the numbers are coming from and what is realistic and what is not, because this is sometimes what trips us over when we're purchasing. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that we're going to purchase a property for $225,000. We saw some real life examples of homes that are being sold for that. We've seen some $350,000, we've seen some $550,000. So we've seen a good amount of price fluctuation in Irving. So we can realistically assume that there's going to be a home that we can purchase for at this price, right? Because we just saw it. So this is one of the assumptions that we're going to make, that you're purchasing a home for $425,000. We're going to say that we're going to do a 20% down. Now, one quick note, you don't have to do 20% down. There's a myth out there that you have to have 20% down in order to purchase a home. That is not true. You can get into a home for as little as 3% on a conventional loan, as little as 3.5% on an FHA loan. So just know that. The reason we're going to use 20% today is because I don't want to calculate the PMI per month. There will be other videos in this channel that I show you how to do that, but for our purposes today, we're just going to keep it as simple as possible above board so you can see where the numbers are coming from. All right, so with that being said, our loan term is going to be 30 years, and our interest rate right now, a realistic one that you can go to the bank and obtain at the moment, is 5.42. In fact, you can go 5.25 if you want. We can do that. Let's go with 5.25. Let's just say we secure that interest rate. Now, if we were making this video a year ago, we could have gotten it 3.25%, but we can't time the market. Just to understand that interest rates are what they are. But just to give you an idea, check this out. This is basically 22222. If just 1 point difference, look at what happens if we put 4.25. That's $200 payment a month, right? You save $200 just on 1 point movement on a $425,000 house. But for our purposes today, we can't put the genie back into the bottle and get yesterday's interest rate. We can deal the cards that are dealt to us right now. So we're going to say interest rate is 5.25. For our zip code, we're not going to worry about that because it's not going to have a bearing on our mortgage payment right here. Our credit score, this will impact your interest rate, but for our purposes today, it's not going to impact our calculations because we already made an assumption that we're going to get this type of interest rate. Now, for our property taxes, remember when we went through the average home value and then we talked about the property taxes and how that's going to affect you whether you're renting because your landlord will probably increase the rent, or if you're a homeowner, well, you have to pay the property taxes on the assessed value. Well, this is where it comes back. Although you're going to be purchasing this property for $425,000, know that you're probably going to pay less in property taxes because of the assessed value from your county. So the county probably is not going to apply a $425,000 valuation to your home because of two things. One, typically the assessed value is less. So on a home that's being sold right now for $425,000, I wouldn't be surprised if county sees your home valued at $350,000. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm getting super technical here, but I just want to give you as much information as I can. So that's one. But two, you can apply homestead exemptions. You can apply different exemptions. If you're over 65, disabled, veteran, you can apply different exemptions that actually allow your property taxes to go lower. So to calculate your property taxes, we're going to use that 2.42% that we had, that we calculated earlier on in this video when I showed you that graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 0.242, I believe is what we were looking at, 0.0242, and we're going to multiply that by the market value. Now, I am applying the market value, so what I bought the property for, knowing that is probably going to be less because the difference between the assessed value and the market value is different. if I multiply 425,000 times 0.0242%, again, our property taxes is 2.42. That is $10,285 per year. That's what you would be paying in taxes, assuming that your property is being assessed at that value, which most likely it isn't, at least today. It might in the future. So we're going to divide that number by 12. And that means that our monthly tax is going to be this. That's going to be roughly our property tax per month. Now, again, I multiply this, which I know is probably going to be less, but anyway, just so you kind of see where the numbers are coming from, I multiply this times 2.42% because that's what our property tax was in Irving. That's why I do this calculation in real time so you see where the numbers are going. As far as homeowners insurance, I've just been putting $200 on our numbers out here. It could be lower, it could be higher, depending on the property and dependent on you if you've had any claims before and all that fun stuff. So for our purposes today, you're going to shop around with your home insurance provider and get a rate. If you don't have one, then check out the link down below on our preferred one so you can start shopping around your rate. As far as the PMI, we do not pay a PMI because we at least have 20% equity in the home that we just purchased. That's why we put 20%. If we had done less than 20%, let's just say if we put 10% down, everything else would change, of course, but then we would be tasked with calculating the PMI. And to give you an idea, the PMI would probably add 0.5 to 1.5% more in interest rate. So if we had this at 10%, then this interest rate would actually be 5.75 or 6.25, something higher because we would have to calculate for the PMI. And then the HOA fees, we're just going to assume there's no HOA fees here on a property that we purchase. In Irving, there are HOA fees, of course, but depending on where you purchase the property, there's not going to be as many as you'll find in other cities. So for us right now, if you're looking for a realistic home payment on a property valued at $425,000, this is it. All right, so what did you think? I know I just threw a lot of numbers at you, but I'm curious, was the monthly payment more? Was it less than you thought on a property of that value? Let me know in the comments section down below. But what's more important for me now is that you now know how to calculate your monthly payment, regardless of the property that you buy, regardless of the property tax rate. Now you know how to apply it in real life scenarios. But as we know, your housing situation isn't the only thing you need to solve for when it comes to where you're living. We need to factor in some additional costs because your housing, that can comprise 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% of your income of where your money is going, but the rest is what we need to account for. So let's look at the cost of living in Irving. All right, so from your median home price, we're looking at about $361,000. Now we know that based off of today's market, this number is actually a little bit on the lower end. So you now know roughly what you need to spend in Irving to buy the home that you want. And now the same thing's going to happen to your median rent. This is actually a little bit on the lower end. Right now we're seeing about $1,200, $1,300 being the median rent. The energy bill will average roughly $175. Your average phone bill is going to be $186, and your gas prices per gallon have actually shot up here in the recent days. So as of this recording, if I drive down to the local Quick Trip, you're looking at about $4.10 per gas. So yes, it has gone up. Your loaf of bread is $3.16. Your gallon of milk is $1.84. Your carton of eggs is $1.72. A bunch of bananas is $3.19, and your hamburger is $4.02. Now, when it comes to healthcare, a doctor's visit can run you $112, a dentist visit $96, an optometrist $105, and an average prescription drug $446, and a veterinary visit $52. And to put this in perspective against the national average, the cost of living in Irving overall is going to be higher by 3%. Your housing will also be above the national average by 4%. The utilities will also be above the national average by 4%. Now your groceries will actually be less expensive by 5%, and your transportation is going to be less than the national average by 1% as well. All right, so at this point you might be thinking, Jaime, Irving is the place for me. Or you may be thinking, Jaime, get me the heck out of Irving. Either way, our information is down below so you can check us out. But if you're on the fence and you're thinking, well, Irving is cool and all, but I'm just not quite sold. I'm going to invite you to check out some comparable cities. I'm going to invite you to check out Arlington, and I'm also going to invite you to check out Farmers Branch, because those two cities have similar characteristics of the ones that you just saw in Irving. Now, of course, if there's a city that we have not covered on this channel, then let us know in the comment section down below so we can feature it. Now, if you're looking to make money on your next real estate transaction, then check out the link down below with our special gift.